I was hired to be the 8-9 Teacher Network Director, and what that was is a project that came out of the report that Camille and folks wrote about becoming effective learners and non-cognitive factors. And what they realized was that a lot of people knew a lot about these non-cognitive factors and were talking about them, but a lot of the knowledge was not in the classroom. Teachers did not know about a lot of this. So what we wanted to do with this project was to bring the research to the teachers and help them kind of wrestle with it, understand it, and then figure out how to implement it in their classroom. So we had about 3 years to figure out how to do this, to recruit teachers and to put together a professional development and a coaching plan so we could work on this. We focused on 8th and 9th grade teachers. The main reason was we know that this is a really important transition in schooling. We tried to recruit from schools where we could get a relatively large group of the 8th grade or 9th grade team to be involved. We also tried to get a really diverse group. We tried to get diversity in socioeconomic status and ethnicity, and also where they are in Chicago. So we got north side, south side, and west side. So we really tried to get everybody involved. We wanted teachers to, well, it kind of changed, to be honest with you. It started with, we have this knowledge and we want to share it with the teachers. And we want them to start creating practices that they could implement in their classroom. What we realized later was that we needed to do a couple things before that actually happened. And one of our main goals, it turned out, was to help teachers understand that they have an amazing amount of power in their classrooms. I think the way that the education system is these days, a lot of teachers feel very powerless. And a lot of things are done to them, and so they're just trying to kind of keep up. They have new curriculums, and we have the Common Core, and we have all these new tests, the PARCC test, and we have to worry about the ACT and the CR. There are a lot of things going on, and a lot of teachers felt as though that this was something, non-cognitive factors, growth mindset, that's something that is like way at the bottom of the list, and I don't have a lot of power over. So what we spent probably the first year was helping teachers understand how these skills, non-cognitive skills, growth mindsets, are really important to get any of these other things done, and that they do have the power to change their classroom environments and to help students build these skills. So at first we thought it was like research and strategies, and we kind of had to take a step back and understand actually we needed to work on teacher mindsets to help them understand that they could do these things and that they're important. We actually had one of the schools come and talk to our teachers, and we had students, teachers, and the administration from those schools to come in and talk about, like, what does it mean to have this sort of school? What does it look like? How do the kids talk about it? How do the teachers talk about it? How does the administration talk about it? And I think that was very helpful because teachers could ask the question directly, I hate to be a skeptic, but being able to ask that question of the people that are doing it, I think, is really, really powerful. Number one was test scores. What are your test scores like? If I'm not working on whatever, math or grammar or, the history timeline, how are they ever going to learn this, and how are they going to get their test scores? And of course the answer is our test scores are above and beyond all the schools in our neighborhood. But that's the first question, that's the first answer, and then everyone's like, oh. The second question was time. How do you do this? What does your day look like? How do you structure your time? How do students structure their time? How do adults structure their time? Those are the two biggies. And I would say after those two were answered, a lot of the skeptics, the people that were a little reticent about it were like, oh, okay. Like, this is not something that requires required millions of dollars. A lot of times it's about money. Like, it's not about millions of dollars or, significantly changing the structure of the school. It's just about making some smart choices. We spent a lot of time trying to help teachers reflect, which is not something that a lot of schools give time to. And a lot of people think it's navel gazing, like why am I wasting time doing this? But we thought it was really important to have teachers kind of stop and think about, like, I do these things and this is why I do these things. And we think that that is actually kind of a foundational practice to help people really surface, like, what are they thinking? What are their mindsets? We also spent a lot of time showing models to teachers of schools that are really rich with mindsets, are really have practices and systems and have a general environment that invites growth mindset. And so, because a lot of teachers feel, well, that sounds great, but I could never do it. So we needed to show them people are doing it, and they're doing it really, really well. And they're doing it here in Chicago, to kind of pull away all of those excuses that a lot of us have. So we started with showing videos. We looked at a bunch of expeditionary learning schools that used project-based learning, or other schools that use project-based learning, because we found that a lot of the classrooms that use project-based learning have tons of these mindset practices, right? We had them become students for a day, which was really interesting. And we asked the 8th grade teachers to be 9th grade students, and we asked the 9th grade teachers to be 8th grade students. For lots of different reasons, but we also think that actually turned out really well, in that a lot of our teachers are like, wow, school's really long, and it's really boring, and I'm hungry, and I'm tired, and these are teachers who have a lot of these mindsets, right? And they're struggling to get through one day as a kid. I think that was very, very telling. We forget what it's like to be a student in school, and we forget, if you're a student in high school and you have 7 different teachers that have 7 different expectations and 7 different syllabi, and so we forget as adults just how stressful and confusing and taxing it is to be a kid. So we think that also was a really great experience for our teachers, because it kind of helped them take a step back and get out of their teacher mind and remember, like, the kids are why we're here, and we're trying to help them. It's not about trying to be you in power and in control. It's about helping kids be successful.